What's up, everyone? I am the Kaiju no Kami here at KomoriCon 2019 with
Kelly Kane,
and we are interviewing
Kieran Strange.
So basically, to start, you are a musician.
Yes.
You also MC, and
Yes.
now you're doing voice acting. What don't you do?
Oh, you know what? I'm not allowed to touch the electronics when we play a gig together because if I do, they break. So I'm never allowed to touch my PlayStation. I ask my roommate. No, that's the one thing I don't do.
Okay,
That and
so
marathons.
so you are that
EMP?
I am an EMP powered mutant.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
actually funny. I had a student once where anytime they'd load up the computers, they'd start their testing on the computers, and she'd hit one question, the computer would freeze up or shut down.
Mutant.
She'd have to do, and then they'd
Yeah.
load it back up. And then like one day where she's having issues on the internet doing her report, so I had to put her on the wired computer. As soon as I walk away, the internet goes down. When I would walk back over to it, the internet would start working again.
Maybe it's you.
But then when I walked away, the internet went down on her.
Like your nemesis, but you don't know it yet. Isn't that crazy? We do have electrical forces as humans. So there is like a chance like that, you know, we convey an electrical field with our bodies. So it'd be interesting to see if to do experiments to see if people who affect electronics have a higher electromagnetic field.
Even the assistant principal would have to when she was trying to make up her testing, because it took her an hour and a half to get through 9 questions. So when she'd have to do the makeup, the assistant principal would have to stand next to her.
Oh my goodness.
To get the computer to work.
Did she have to hold the aerial like we used to have to do with like analog
ears.
television? Yeah, the rabbit ears. You have rabbit ears. We bent an old coat hanger and
Oh yeah, and put foil at the top of it just to pray it would work.
Your
And
television looked like a Doctor Who villain. It was like
Exterminate.
right
Delete.
calibrate.
so along the lines of the voice acting, you are now in an iconic video game series.
I'm so thrilled. I honestly feel like I don't deserve anything. No, when they approached me about it, I could not believe they were even considering me because I had no experience in voice acting. And that's actually one of the really cool things about Gearbox as a studio is they really kind of look out there to find talent.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just go with the kind of who's hot in the local community or who's hot in Hollywood. They look and they try and find talent and they really try and find who is best suited for the role. Like some of the people who were casting them, and Ice-T is in it. I'm kind of like, damn. And he was really stoked about it too because he's a big gamer.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
So when you say that they look for more than just who's hot, so basically someone other than Nolan North.
Yes, someone else. But I thought it was pretty dope. I mean, I love some of the people they cast. Some of the new people they cast in it were just truly fantastic. All of the new Vault Hunters sound fantastic. I'm still struggling. ProZD killed it as Flag. I haven't played them yet, but oh my goodness, yeah, his work as that was totally fantastic.
Well, now that you have the voice acting bug, is there any series that you would love to just be a part of?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so recently I got to do Walla for My Hero Academia.
Oh,
Walla's
wow.
background, additional vocals. I got to be a guy who nods and says some things. And it made me really happy because just being a part of something so iconic it's honestly there's no small roles in acting. Everything is, what is it they say, there's no small roles, only small actors and stuff. But
yeah.
it's I'm doing a lot of background work right now. I'm really enjoying it. I feel like I'm retroactively kind of paying my dues as an actor because I got given this huge role off the bat. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying going in and doing the background and figuring out all these different voices and working with so many, because there's usually 4 of you in a booth, all working, yelling at the same time, and you're all having different conversations with yourself, because you're a crowd of townspeople. It's a lot of fun, and it's really cool to just go out there and work with a bunch of directors and talk to a bunch of actors and kind of figure out who I am as an actor, because it was always a field I wanted to go into, and I just, coming to terms with my gender and my transition and not feeling like I was your stereotypically pretty female who could go into Hollywood, I just kind of gave up on acting, so to actually be doing it I don't think it's quite sunk in yet. It's, a lot of people are hearing the voice and they've been telling me all convention, they'll hear the voice and they'll go, that sounds like Kieran, and they'll have to go and look it up because it's literally just my voice yelling, which is a lot of fun.
Well, every time I hear your voice, Kieran, I'm like, oh, I know him. I know him.
I know that guy. I can't sneak anywhere. It sucks.
Yeah, you have a very, very precise voice.
And what's weird is I've lived in America and Canada so long now. I don't hear your accent. I hear mine. I hear every word. I heard myself say mine. Like, I hear every word I say wrong. It's so weird. Like,
Well, I have to say that there's a lot of times where I rarely hear accents. Like, we'll watch Doctor Who or Torchwood.
you just get so into it.
Well, and I'm like, oh, they had an accent?
You can't watch Torchwood without knowing Gwen has an accent there.
She does.
Oh, Jack! Oh, Jack, things are happening, Jack! I couldn't listen. I had to watch it with subtitles.
But like Owen and Toshiko and them, I don't hear accents from them.
That was a great show.
It was.
Really good
Oh,
show.
I love it. But then again, Captain Jack is like my
Yeah,
hero.
I was stoked, honestly, just that Captain Jack, like Jack Harkness, got his own show.
Oh,
Like, that
yeah.
to me was... We were all so stoked in England when they talked about it. We were like, oh, and then they were like, it's an anagram of Doctor Who, and we all went, oh, and it was like... It was a big time back in, God, what was it, like 2009?
I did.
No, 2007, because we got into
Because I was still in England, so yeah, 2007.
because we got into Doctor Who in 2009, so we got introduced to Torchwood after that.
That makes sense.
Because
I was still in
Children
England.
of Earth was just about to premiere in the U.S. for the first time, and that was our first Torchwood story that we saw.
I feel so dense, though. I never knew that Torchwood was an anagram.
Oh no! I was today years old when I found...
I watched it 3 times and I never got that. So thank you.
It's okay, anytime. But I thought it was cool because they went back to the Rift in Wales,
Yes.
right? And that was super, super cool. Wales is a really cool place. I haven't been around the UK a lot for someone who's lived there. Because we don't travel in England. We're like 3 hours. I don't want to drive for 3 hours, and I've never been to Scotland. Like, I need to go back and actually tour my country. But I've done Wales, and it was amazing, and the people were so kind and so lovely, and like, oh, it's a great country. Awesome country.
You are a big voice in the LBG. Wow, I just butchered it.
No, someone else said that earlier, LBGT, and I'm like, yeah, the buys are moving on up in the world. They're like, no, I'm sorry, we're one in front now. Dude, can you imagine how mad the GLBT people would be if they heard this?
But you like to, I mean, obviously I like to have a voice to represent them. Do you feel that it's getting more exposure these days compared to what it was?
Oh yeah, and I feel like a lot of that's got to do with people in the media. I mean, nobody who is trans likes Caitlyn Jenner.
No.
But she definitely, as we white people like to say, started a dialogue. And since then, I mean, we've had like Ezra Miller and like a lot of other people really kind of, Sam Smith, like a whole bunch of other people who are really coming out and saying, no, I feel like I am either gender fluid or trans or gender non-binary. And I feel like it really lends validation when people who have an established career come out. Like I was talking about the guy from Nickelodeon, I think in another interview today, who just came out as trans, and he's been voice acting from Nickelodeon for years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look him up. I forget his name, and I feel really bad for forgetting his name, but he's voiced roles I remember. And he's a trans man. And it's like, this is incredible, like, to see yourself not only successful, but successful in 20 years' time at that age. Like Borderlands, we just had a gay couple introduced.
Yes,
Spoiler
I just
alert.
heard about that.
Yeah, Hammerlock got a boyfriend that isn't drama this time. And apparently they have the most healthy, like for a game of screwed up relationships, they have like the most healthy relationship. And it's not just the fact that you're seeing a healthy gay relationship, you're seeing it with people who are like in their like 40s or so. And like that is like super cool, like to see older queers living their queer life, their best gay life. Like that's something we don't really see. And Twin Falls said something to me, the cosplayer. He said that the big thing is that we never get to see queer people live.
No.
Like in TV shows, and we never get to see them grow old and be happy, and there's been this real kind of push for that recently too, and I feel like that also translates into the whole, like, I have these established figures in my life, like Sam Smith, who is a well-known singer and has had all these top 10 hits, and oh, they're suddenly they them. Like, it puts it in perspective almost for people that we're not just a bunch of young teenagers being angry and queer in a corner. Like, this goes back. Like, you know, Native people are speaking up about being two-spirit, and it's like, it's really cool to see people stepping in and giving it validation.
Well, I think it's important. Recently, my uncle came out, and he's 60, and it was never talked about.
Yeah.
And
they never had the opportunity.
No, and he
come
went
out.
to seminary school. He was going to be a priest, decided at the last minute not to. And we just found out, and it was hard to, because you feel guilty. As a family member, you feel guilty that you didn't recognize it.
Yeah, there's always that level of like, why didn't I? Yeah.
And you also feel bad that they never got to live their authentic selves, that he has a child, that he was married for 30 years.
Yeah.
And he now gets to do that, and I feel so happy for him.
Yeah.
But to not have had that opportunity.
Yeah.
So I value this, especially for all of our students, high schoolers that we work with, elementary students, being able to see so much of this day and age. And I really find a lot of your panels at any of the conventions I've attended that you've been a part of, that you talk about this, that you give a voice, that you give so much positivity at the same time.
I try to be really positive. There's so much negativity. I mean, the whole thing, the recent thing is the whole LGB with the T, like trying to kind of weed out the transphobia and the TERFs within the community. And it's like, you know, that's their goal, is to divide us, and we can't afford to be divided as a community. Like, we can't afford to, as queer people, and I'm sorry if anybody's offended by the term queer, I use it openly, it's, but I'd be aware that that is a term I'm using openly, that I am very aware that I am comfortable with it. There are a lot of people who aren't comfortable with it, because it has been used in a very derogatory fashion in the past. And to me, it's like there's so many people, like, we can't stand over here as a trans person and be like, asexuality isn't valid. You know, polyamory isn't valid. Like, we have to kind of, like, draw the line on things like pedophilia, obviously. There's no place for that in this community. They're trying to tag that on, and beware of that, because that is a common tactic they're using to try and kind of push us under as sex perverts. But it's... there's definitely like a level of positivity I want to bring. Pronouns is a huge one. I really want to bring a bunch of positivity with pronouns, because, and I always feel weird talking about this because we've struggled for so long to be recognized, but we're asking so much of our allies in some way to be like, hey, here's this whole new pronoun that you were told throughout the 80s and 90s and noughties that this only was singular, because like that's what education's been for the last 30, 40 years. And, you know, we're asking our allies now, hey, look, can you really try and think of me in this way? And I've had issues where I've met people who have totally supported my transition, and I've explained to them, you know, I feel like I'm this bigender soul in this body, and if you were to separate the room into men and women, I would just be more comfortable on this side.
Sure.
That's just the way I am. But if somebody uses she pronouns just because they forget, it doesn't bother me. I'm getting very comfortable with it. And I think that comes from me being comfortable with myself and knowing that I am what I am. Like, because for the first few years I was not comfortable with she. It made me feel, it really hit me hard, and it really brought me down. And I'm trying to just spread a little bit of that, like, love within the community. Like, we're all struggling to keep up with each other's changes, and there's new terminology every day. And, like, even as a young person who's on top of this and does activism and focuses on trying to be on top of everything for conventions and for myself, and just to be a good educational point for allies, you know, a lot changes very quickly. I don't know all the flags. I'm doing my best. But we just need to be patient with each other. And I think we're really looking for excuses. Not excuses, but reasons to justify rage we feel because life sucks.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very valid point, and it's so powerful at the same time.
And so as soon as we feel justified, we'll lash out, because we're like, finally, we can release some of this anger. And it's like I'm trying to kind of be less of an angry person and be a bit more chill, so...
We are pretty much out of time.
I know, I talk a lot. I'm really sorry.
I loved it, though.
What type of social media links can people find you at?
So it's at Kieran Strange on Twitter and Instagram. I'm on Facebook, but it's It's Facebook, you guys know. I do have a page on Facebook. And check out my Twitch. I'm doing a lot of twitching right now. I'm about to start Borderlands 3 in like December, January. I'm really excited about that. I've avoided as many spoilers as possible. And that is /the Coffee Commander, because I let my Twitter choose it, and they did right by me.
Well, thank you so much for
No
your
worries.
time.
Anytime with you guys. Seriously, I
Thank
love you.
you.
Until
So
next
you.
time, bye.